So you did a little time.
Yeah.
Came home, and I'm assuming got back to hustling.
Well, when I came home, this is my introduction to death row. Because death row was cracking. I came home in '94. So when I come home and I'm calling the homies, they're like, yeah, man, there's death row out here cracking. I'm like, what the fuck is that? They're like, man, the homie got the music shit popping. You know what I mean? And all the homies out here with new cars and shit and all. I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? But my situation is different because back then you needed an address to parole from. You know what I mean? You had to have an address in order to parole. I didn't have no address. My grandmother talking about I can't come over there because she live in Hoover. That was some bullshit because I've been in Hoover my whole motherfucking life. I know every motherfucker over here. You know what I mean? So I didn't even have no address to go home to. My girl at the time, you know what I mean? She, you know, we kids. We 20, 21 years old. She fucking with another motherfucker, you know what I mean? But one thing about it was she had my back the whole time I was down. And when I got ready to come home, I didn't have an address. She said, you can use my mama's address. You know what I mean? So imagine having to come home from the pen to your girl pad that shit then basically damn near left you pretty much. You know what I mean? You know, and I'm like, I'm not finna use her address, but shit, I need to get out that motherfucker. You know what I mean? So when I use the address, I come home, boom. And I go straight to the hood, from the bus station to the hood. You know what I mean? The homies like, here goes some money, here goes some weed. The other homies pull out the pistol. I'm like, hold that. You know, I just got off the motherfucking bus, hold that. So go to the little motel and shit, you know what I mean? That first night, the honeymoon was over. Reality kicks in, Alan. I'm broke, nobody to turn to, you know, I mean, I got the set, you know what I mean? You know, ain't no aunties stepping in, ain't no nothing, you know what I mean? So my second day from the hood, the next day, you know, I tell old girl moms, I can't spend the night over here, I can't stay here. I appreciate you letting me use your address to get out. As soon as I get a chance, I'm gonna change the probation address, but I appreciate it, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, I call my baby mama and shit. I say, hey, go to the heart of Ludus Park over there, some apartments over there, right in the heart of Ludus Park. Give me an apartment. I set up shop. Third day out, I set up shop. And sold dope 7 days a week, 24/7. You know what I mean? But now death row cracking. So when I come home, Alex was pissing me off was when I first get out, I'm like, hey, well, who got to work? You know what I mean? They like, oh man, we be getting to work from the cribs. I'm like, what you say? Nigga, you getting work from the cribs. Yeah, everybody getting death row checks and shit, man. Niggas ain't hustling like that, so we gotta go to the, I put a stop to that shit immediately. You know what I mean? So while the death row homies death rowing, all the homies in the hood, man, locked that motherfucker down. You know what I mean? From the heart of Ludus Park, you know what I mean? And took flight from right there.
So you didn't wanna try to get away into death row and probably try to get a job over there with those dudes?
Man, for one, them was the super G's, you know what I mean? And for two, I gotta eat tonight, Alex. I can't wait on no check. I don't got 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I got tonight. I got to eat again tonight by, you know, as soon as I can. You know, and wasn't no option. You know what I mean? It wasn't no cushion. Wasn't no none of that. You know what I mean?
So all the death row cats are like about 6, 7, 8 years older than you, right?
Yeah, most of the homies a lot older than me and shit. You know what I mean? Buntry and, you know, Neck Bone, motherfucking all them. Trey only got me by a couple years. You know what I mean? But Trey was in there. You know what I mean? But you still got to understand they was getting their feet in, and a lot of homies had never had a lot. So they was more, you know, kind of like on themselves, you know what I mean? Not that I'm knocking them, you know what I mean? Because I understand niggas did a bunch of time in the pen. Niggas had never really had a whole lot. And then when death row cracked, now we got new cars, we got, you know, checks and shit like that. I got mine out the street, you know what I mean? I got mine right there, like I said, in the heart of Ludus Park with the little homies from the park, which I was a little homie myself. And I took flight on their ass right there.
So to get back on your financial footing, did you have to start off with a small sack, or did you get fronted something nice?
Well, it wasn't something nice, but I made work. I never sold to drug users. I always was in a position where I could at least sell to the homies, basically. And there was a lot of homies that sold drugs and shit that what, y'all going to the cribs? Nigga, I'm finna put an end to that. You know what I mean? Just on some, that and sold to me just in itself. You know what I mean? You know, and don't forget, I'm a dude with no ego, no aspirations to be bigger than nobody or better than nobody. You know, my aspirations to go by the rule books that the big homie set forth and be solid. You know what I mean? So no matter what I had, when I had it, I never changed. I never switched up. I never went Hollywood and shit like some of the homies did. You know what I mean? And I kept a 100 on the ground. You know what I mean? So I started off with smaller than, you know, than I would like to. Man, I bullshit you not, Alan. It's 90 days. I came home to nothing. I say 90 days. I was up about 40 racks. You know what I mean? And just took flight with the work, you know, took flight with the game. I didn't have nothing else, you know what I mean? But we still banging, we still pushing the line, we still all that shit, like right here in the turf, you know what I mean? You know, while the homies in Hollywood doing death row shit, we still, don't forget, these blocks still got to get managed. These blocks still got to get held down. I ain't taking nothing from my G's at all. You know what I mean? Nothing at all. I was glad they was in a position, motherfucker, to see this type of shit, you know, to do this type of shit. And I know when I first came home, Suge had a motherfucking Snoop performing up in Ludus Park. You know, I go up there for probably about 30 minutes. Shit, I got to get back to my block. Suge getting his money doing what he doing. I need to go get my money doing what the fuck I'm doing. But eventually, I motherfucker start being able to, you know, financially, you know, not worry about this and go fuck with the homies, you know what I mean?
So while you're hustling throughout the 90s, you got out in 94?
I got out in 94.
For the rest of the 90s, you didn't catch any cases?
I got out at 21, from 21 to 31. I had a 10-year stretch, Alex, okay. You know what I mean? And in the Cross Atlantics, you know, when I came home, I went to the big homies in the Cross Atlantics and shit. Even though at this point, I'm functioning in Ludus Park, Lime Hood, you know what I mean? The Mob, you know what I mean? I'm functioning on the east side, you know what I mean? You know, but I go to the Cross Atlantics and shit like, check this out, homie. Let me run the hood. You know, let me get that. You know what I mean? Not that I'm over, you know, overseeing y'all, but let me get the reins. And the homies give me the reins, you know what I mean? And I take flight with it.
So this must have been the best 10 years of your life.
Let me tell you something. but it was the best 10 years of my life. But at the same time, not like I said, I'm never on nothing arrogant. You know what I mean? Because I come up out the trenches. I come up out the turf. I learn from the G's. You know what I mean? Like I say, from Willie T to Stanley Pitts, you know what I mean? You ask my big homie D-Dog, you know what I mean? He was general in the hood. You ask any of the homies about me, I'm thorough, I'm solid. You know, and I never tried to be nothing but that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the resume, you know, from 31 to 21 in the Cross Atlantic, not one homie got killed. From 31 to 21 in the Cross Atlantic, not one homie got a life sentence. You know what I mean? I felt like, and I mean, I'm pushing this line heavy. You know what I mean? Because when I hear you finna do some stupid shit, I'm finna check you on it. Even if you older than me, younger than me, it didn't matter. What the fuck you say? Yeah, that's some stupid shit, nigga. You know what I mean? You know, and I bullshit you not. As soon as I left, shit went bad. You know what I mean? You know, shit went bad.
Well, I say that the best years of your life because during that 10 years, you're making the money you want to make.
Yeah.
And you're free.
No doubt, man. I'm having a ball. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm living the Pyru dream.
Thanks for watching StreetTV.net. If you're not subscribed, please hit that button below and click the bell to receive alerts and notifications. Feel free to comment below so you can give us your feedback, and be sure to watch the 2 related episodes to the right. If you want to support this platform or follow us on social media, visit the links in the description, and thanks for watching StreetTV.net.